So does everyone see, yeah, okay, so Canvas, and then our class, and find 410 talks. So everybody see that? And then if you just look at the sample one that I posted, you'll see you don't need to write as much as I wrote. Of course, because it's a little too long. But just something like that. But I do want it with MLA standards. So any questions about that header? And then your, where it says number 1, and you see that entry, that's exactly like it should look. Just copy that. So who said it, what the name of the TED Talk was, it's all right there for you to follow. Any questions on that? No. Okay, perfect.
Are we doing this now?
No, I just wanted you to see that now. I want to talk to you and help you in any way that I can. Right after I take roll. And it looks like everyone's here. Stephen, that's your seat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, if you look down, you will see at almost at the very bottom of the Beowulf section. Do you not have a computer?
I got it.
Okay, look down at the bottom of the Beowulf section, and it says Chat GPT Beowulf topics. Everybody see that? So it's module 3, very bottom, ethical use, Chat GPT. And if you click on the doc, it'll open. And we used this last week. So here's what we're gonna do today. If you, raise your hand if you are ready to outline or to begin writing at this point. Okay? Tell me where you're going. What
topic on it?
Uh-huh.
Honor and justice.
Honor and justice. And is anyone else going with honor and justice? That's a new one for me. But you're clear on your thesis statement and you're clear on exactly what you need to do. I have some large post-it paper, and I want my last class did with it. But on top of our wire rack in the back of the room, there's some more pads. You're welcome to use big post-it pages like this, if that will be helpful to you. And you can outline your paper if you want to do it in your comp books, or if you want to do it on a Word document, that's fine. Where are you going, Steven?
The side effects or downfalls of a hero.
Okay, so like the tragic flaws?
Yeah.
Do you have your thesis statement written?
Just about, yeah.
Okay, do you mind if I read it and share it with class to help them?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Where is it? Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so Beowulf is an Anglo-Saxon story in which the hero fights several beasts, and he believes he's a supernatural hero because he's praised for taking care of everyone else's problems, and the world's expectations for him end up being his downfall. So is that also your promising statement of where you're going with your 3 paragraphs?
No, I don't really, but I need to work on that one next.
Okay. Because you're almost there with this. But if you just want to write about his downfall, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Then each paragraph would focus, how are you going to focus those 3 paragraphs then?
I was going to talk about how, like, just growing up like his parents, and then like gonna talk about like the different things that he went through, and then after that I was gonna talk about the different battles and how they affected him.
So youth and then battles, okay? And then 3?
How it affected him. So like how it made him to think that he was a supernatural hero when he wasn't.
Okay. So how all has that molded his character? Then what paragraph are you going to talk about his downfall?
Probably in how it molded him.
So in this one.
Yeah.
So these lead up to this. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the epic hero is groomed as a youth, because we learned that. The epic hero is groomed to protect his community, fight for his community over everything else, and so you could write about that in this paragraph. Is that what your plan is?
Yeah.
Because from your notes, that's what I'm seeing. And then the battles, and you mentioned supernatural, those battles during those days and during the pagan era, they did believe they had supernatural strength. But fighting hand-to-hand, you have to believe and draw upon more than just what normally you would, right? So you can go there. Is this where you're going?
Yes.
Just want to make sure you're clear. Okay, good. And then this is what happens as a result of these two. So this is cause and effect then. So Stephen's doing a cause and effect essay. Okay, someone else. So anybody else doing anything similar to his, what I wanted to do is for you guys to break into small groups and work together now as you get your topics similar. So is anyone similar to Stephen's? Okay, I'll keep checking on you, Stephen. All right, who else?
I got my thesis, but it's not completely finished.
Okay, what direction?
Let's be honest. Let me check.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me where you're going. Read.
Kind of talking about his legacy and Grendel's legacy too.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna be an interesting essay. So on your thesis statement, if you're gonna talk about both Beowulf's and Grendel's legacy, are you gonna say they created them on purpose?
I was gonna talk about how they kind of lived in their, like Grendel's legacy let him, or because of Cain and Abel, he let his past define him.
That's gonna be a beautiful essay. Okay, so Grendel was controlled by the belief that he was doomed through his
Belief of
genetic heritage. I don't think that's the right word. His lineage. Okay, so that's that piece. What's your other piece now? And in contrast, Beowulf was destined, so you could use destined in both of them. Was destined to save and persevere. As a result of his lineage. So those could be your two, these could actually be your two proof statements. And your thesis up here could be tighter if you went to throughout literature we read about characters who live self-fulfilling prophecies as a result of who they are told they are, something like that. Because that's what you're telling me. Brendel was told he was bad. He was a result of being, an heir of Cain. Beowulf was told he was a hero, and it was his duty to go on this quest to save this kingdom. We think this is just like a work of literature, but do we see this every day with people? I mean, that's what makes literature either heartbreaking or uplifting. Like, what if? And Reese, I don't know if you want to go there or not, but what if Brenda would have said, no, I'm changing it. I'm shifting the story. Because I was reading in a discussion group that I'm in. A graduate student was writing, and she wrote last night, she said, I had to come from nothing. I worked harder, I studied harder, I ran harder. So she became a runner in high school and college. She said, I did whatever it took to change the child that I had, to change where I came from, because I knew I had to. And she said, it breaks my heart when I go to teach and I see some students who do, I see other students who don't. And so we were having this discussion, it reminded me of Brendel. Like, Brendel was not a monster, he was a human being. But in this story, he is betrayed as such a debased human being that we keep referring to him as a monster, almost as bad as like the dragon. But he's not. He's a kid. It's like the same age as Beowulf. And we all live an insulated life here. And we talk about that. I thought so much after the choir concert Thursday. There's so many homecomings. There's not just homecoming week, but there's so many homecomings in our life. Father Ed talked about it at Mass when he went to spend time with his mother this summer after his dad died. And there's this yearning to come home. And so in a way, this whole thing is such a tragedy for everybody. Beowulf he never really gets to build a family. He dies without an heir. But then that last few lines of that poem, my heavenly Father has given me all of this. So he does see that he has a homecoming. And we talked about that as a choir, you know, just when they sang that song, we will remember. I've thought about that song so much since Thursday night. So, Beowulf had a much different homecoming than Grendel did. Grendel had we didn't see one moment of joy in his life. And he thought if he killed, okay, I'm gonna be happy. But he did, and he never was happy. So, who has not decided what essay you're writing? Anybody in the room? Because that'd be quite an essay. This is going to be quite an essay to compare and contrast these two men's lives. And so you could do that in paragraph 3, paragraph 4, paragraph 2, paragraph 3. But you could really make a statement in paragraph 4 if you chose to. Because every one of us is a choice every day about which one it's going to be. Even with the privileges that we have. Okay, so is anyone else going with any kind of a thesis that's close to this? Any kind of a contrast, because this is a contrast between good and evil. So if you want to scoot off to the side so you can work, you're welcome to. If you want to keep listening, you can. Who else? Leadership, legacy. Where are you guys going?
The battles.
Pardon?
The battles.
The battles. Okay, and where are you going with the battles? What stance are you taking?
Like psychological.
Okay. What do you think those battles did to him psychologically?
They sort of gave him, and make bad decisions.
To make what kind of decisions?
Like bad, not popular.
Which one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one. Why do you guys think he did that? His men were right there.
Pride.
Who said that?
Me.
So you think it was pride?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Has anybody ever known anyone who was just done? Because that could have been it. I don't know that we have evidence from the poem, other than the fact that he was old. You know, he was in his elder years. It didn't seem like he did it. I think you may be right about the pride. But how stupid. I mean, what a stupid decision when his warriors were standing right there. He said, oh, you guys hang back, I got this. And in his younger years of my work, that line that talks about his shield melting, what an image. The fire from the dragon's mouth. The shield held for a moment, and then it started to melt. Isn't that what we see Beowulf do? He holds for a moment and then he starts to just. Okay, so are you clear about your explanatory statement, your promise? Do you need help with anything anywhere? You good?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I was gonna do about Beowulf's leadership style, but could you help me think of things for
I'd
that?
be happy to. I think that that's a great essay topic because Beowulf was groomed to be a leader. And all of us change as we grow up and mature. So you can actually take, and you need to lead me here, I don't wanna take you where you don't wanna go. But, so we've talked about Beowulf, and we've talked about the epic hero and the qualities of that epic hero. We don't have to list them again, we've done that 4 classes, 5 classes, but you know what they are. And so as a leader, one thing you could do is just do a search, do a Google search for what are the qualities of a good leader. It's probably been 10, 15 years now. Chrysler was failing, like bankrupt failing. And they hired, you guys won't probably know this name, a man named Lee Iacocca. And he came in and he turned that company around. And he did some leadership things that were, they were phenomenal. So you might look that up. What did he do?
What's his name?
Lee Iacocca, but you can just put in Chrysler and leadership. I think his name is spelled it's something like IACOCCA or something like that. Type in Chrysler and Lee and something like that, you'll get it. But it was really phenomenal. GE did the same thing just maybe 10 years ago and became world renowned for this leadership change. But you don't even have to go, I mean, just look them up and kind of glance at it. You don't have to go that deep. But look up leadership and maybe leadership evolution. And you might find some really interesting things because a leader at 20 is different than a leader at 40. And that's different than a leader at 60. Maybe consider the difference between knowledge, that'd be at 20, and then wisdom. Another very, very famous leader was General Patton. And his men followed him because they believed in him and trusted him. Now that's a military leader, so that might be a good one to look at. And I'm just kind of like thinking off the top of my head here to give you some concrete things rather than just look up leadership qualities. But if you kind of do a little bit of research over the rest of class, and then tomorrow come back to me with what you got, and we'll work on your thesis.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, I wanted to kind of do a gut check here. Who's doing so well you don't need any help? Raise your hand. For now, I'm not saying for the rest of the year. Okay. Who is feeling a little lost and overwhelmed? You don't know where to start, so you don't know what to ask. Is there anybody in here like that? Okay. What time's class over?
35.
Okay, we still got some time left. So, those of you that I've helped, those of you that know where you're going, I would suggest, like, how many of you are doing leadership? Anybody? Any couples? Okay, so the two of you are doing leadership. I would sit together and brainstorm. Anybody doing legacy in here? Okay, Reese? Nobody else? Okay. Where are the rest of you going? If you're doing something with a similar topic, it's great to have another partner. Not that you're gonna end up with the same essays, but kind of bounce ideas off of each other. Now, I'm gonna walk up and down the aisles, because sometimes it's a little bit, it can be intimidating if you just don't know where to start, to say, I feel lost. So as I walk up and down the aisles, just tell me what you need and I will find a way to help you, okay? And I wanna point out, over on this wall, which we've used over and over again since school started, but you know, when we were doing the one-pagers, and we had all the different templates for those, and all the different designs, those templates will work well as graphic organizers as you're planning your essays. So I left them over there because as you have an idea, you can put one, okay, let's put this idea here. I wanna make sure I put this idea in, so let me just jot it down. I wanna make sure I get this idea in. Another way you can use them is go through the poem and say, I want this quote, this quote, this one, and this one. So let me put the line numbers down. So use them almost as note-taking or memory banks for yourselves or organizational devices. So those are in the last three. There's also in those two black ones that are next to it, there's some elements of writing that could be helpful to you. But first and foremost, if you get stuck, guess what? I'm here. Okay. Can you check? Okay, don't worry about incorporating it yet. Look at how did he decide, how did he create his legacy? Because his intention, okay, you guys, he's gonna do legacy, but what's cool about legacy is sometimes, if you're not careful, if you're not careful, you got this plan, and this is gonna be my legacy, and then life kicks in. So his plan was to go on the quest, go back to his community, get married, rule a kingdom, have heirs, and then pass on his kingdom to his heirs, correct? At the end, he had never married, and he had no heirs. So his legacy ended up being different than what he thought it would be, correct?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna write about legacy, you can actually write a thesis statement that's like, sometimes we have a plan, and life doesn't always turn out the way we think it will. And in the epic poem Babel, his plan was to Go on a quest. Make it a worthy quest. Conquer, return home, marry, have children, and then bequeath his kingdom to his heirs. Instead, Beowulf's legacy was to conquer enemies throughout his life. His life was filled with war. But in the end, his legacy really was that he brought peace to a growing nation. Because from what we know from that poem, he had vanquished all the enemies. What a legacy that would be for a modern hero. War has ended. The dragons are slayed, because in the very last 20 lines, what's it say? Whiplash, what's it refer to? Whiplash. I'm helping you, somebody else can do it. Whiplash goes in to get the riches. And he looks everywhere, and there's no more monsters. That's a profound statement right there. For the first time in this whole poem, there is peace. So his legacy really ended up being, he brought peace to a nation. And even more than that, he brought forgiveness. His men deserted him. When I read those lines, I'm gonna start bawling. His men go running into the woods when that dragon's killing him. And the last words from his mouth, tell my brave men how much I love them. Have them build me a tomb. If that isn't a representation of Christ's forgiveness on a deathbed, tell my brave men they've served me well. What a legacy on his dying lips. Tell my brave men. I mean, that is ultimate forgiveness right there. So if you're writing about his legacy, the very end of his life, he got wisdom. How sad that it's on our deathbed that we finally get that picture. Hopefully we get it before that. So is that helping you? Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow, let's write your thesis, okay? We'll work together. Who else? Sure. Anybody down there?
Actually, what if we write about it forward for the specific
Okay, you have to be careful or you won't have specifics, but you can do it. So your thesis could be more of Beowulf as a man. And you need to write some formal statement there, how Beowulf, who Beowulf was as a man. And what shaped him. Now tell me where you wanna go. Okay, that would work perfectly. You could dedicate one section, one part, to him as a youth, the beginning of the poem, and him as a mature adult, the middle, and then him as an aged man who's dying. You could even take it, a youth filled with, excitement for the quest. A mature man who knows he has a job to do and a kingdom to rule. An aged king who must finish the work he started. $9:35? Okay, 2 minutes, guys, so power down your computers. Do y'all feel like you're on a good track here? You feel?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Cisco? You need help?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, I will start with you tomorrow, will you remind me?
Yeah.
Between now and tomorrow, have you done your study guide?
I'm sorry.
Okay, the answers are back there. I want you to take the answer sheet with you because you've been out, and I want you to read through them. Bring it back in, okay?
I'll bring it back one.
Well, I want you to have the TED Talk, 4 TED Talks that are interesting to you done by Friday. Okay? I'm gonna give you time after today, instead of us doing bell ringers in the morning, I want you to have listened to a TED Talk so you can do an entry during bell ringer time. If you have not done, if you haven't listened to one, we're gonna be wasting time, which is not gonna be okay with me. So how many of you are gonna commit that you will have, you'll be ready to write an entry the next 4 mornings? Show of hands. Okay, who will not commit? Who will not raise their hand no matter what I ask you guys? If you're not getting any candy, you're gonna get the game. Hey, who do we play this with? Oh, no. Caven. Okay, now, I will. How many of you got your sweatshirts coming? I got an email that mine's on the way. We're all going to the game, right? Oh, that game Friday night, raw. We needed that one. Pardon me? The study guide is hanging up on the wall back there. See it highlighted?
yeah.
Yeah, only check it, just to make sure that you don't work harder than you do. So I didn't just yeah, by developing his skills throughout his youth. By adopting the values that were instilled within him. That's a- And by and by working on his body so those bodies are balanced together. That's right.
Uh-huh.
I thought you were there. I swear I saw it.
Is I looked at it like, she's an assistant. She's a front desk bitch.